No Frills is the sixth studio album by American singer Bette Midler, released on Atlantic Records in 1983. No Frills was Midler's first studio album in 4 years, following the movies The Rose, Divine Madness, and the ill-fated Jinxed. The rock and new wave-influenced album was produced by Chuck Plotkin, best known for his work with Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen, and included 3 single releases: the ballad, All I Need to Know, a cover of Marshall Crenshaw's My Favorite Waste of Time, and Midler's take on the Rolling Stones classic, Beast of Burden. While No Frills surprisingly became Midler's second lowest charting album in the US, peaking at number 60 on Billboard. Her 1979 disco album Thighs and Whispers number 65. It became her best-selling studio album to date in both Continental Europe and Scandinavia. In West Germany it reached number 15, in the Netherlands number 10, in Norway number 2, and in Sweden No Frills managed to reach the top spot of the album's chart, even outselling the Rose soundtrack, and the Beast of Burden single was indeed a top 10 hit in most parts of Europe. The promo video for the song, made during the early MTV era, featured Mick Jagger in a cameo role playing Midler's boyfriend. The soundtrack to the video including the spoken dialogue, with Midler famously telling Jagger, "Just stay long enough to hear me sing your song. I sing it better than anybody." Jagger replies, "Well, almost anybody." Quote, was released on the B-side of the 12 Inches single in Europe. In September 1984, the video for Beast of Burden was nominated for 3 MTV Video Music Awards for Best Female Video, Best Choreography, and Best Stage Performance Video. Midler recorded several songs for the album that did not make the final cut. Among these were Bruce Springsteen's Pink Cadillac, later covered by Natalie Cole, Broken Bicycles, the Jonathan King-written Everyone's Gone to the Moon, and Peter Gabriel's Here Comes the Flood, all of which she had performed live on her 1982 1983 concert tour de tour, later released on VHS, DVD as Art or Bust. The ballad, All I Need to Know, composed by renowned songwriting team Barry Mann, Cynthia, Weil and Tom Snow, which had peaked at #77 39th on the US singles and A/C charts with Midler in late 1983, was some 5 years later covered by Linda Ronstadt on her album Cry Like a Rainstorm, Howl Like the Wind. Ronstadt's Grammy-winning version of the song was recorded as a duet with Aaron Neville and retitled Don't Know Much, and then became a number 2 hit on the US singles chart and number 1 on the adult contemporary chart and a worldwide hit single. My Favorite Waste of Time was in turn covered by Scottish singer Owen Paul in 1986 and was a top 5 hit in the UK. When Midler's Greatest Hits compilation Experience the Divine was released in 1993, only one song from No Frills was included, Only in Miami, an album track which never was a single either in the US or in Europe. A second edition of the compilation with a revised track list, released in 1996, however added both Beast of Burden and My Favorite Waste of Time. The album was released on CD for the first time in 1990. A remastered version of the album was released by Atlantic Records, Warner Music in 1995. Track listing. Side A, Is It Love? Nick Gilder, Jimmy McCulloch. 4:43. Favorite Waste of Time, Marshall Crenshaw. 2:43. All I Need to Know, Barry Mann, Cynthia, Weil, Tom Snow. 4:08. Only in Miami, Max Gronenthal. 4:35. Heart Overhead, Andy Goldmark, Robin Batto, Brock Walsh. 2:52. Side B, Let Me Drive, Greg Prestopino, Matthew Wilder. 4:02. My Eye on You, Moon Martin, Bill House, 4:03. Beast of Burden, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, 3:48. Soda and a Souvenir, Jessica Harper, 3:23. Come Back Jimmy Dean, Bette Midler, Jerry Blatt, Brock Walsh, 3:51. Personnel, Bette Midler, lead vocals. Backing vocals, Ricky Lawson, drums. Tracks A1, A3, A4, B1, B2, B4. Pops, Popswell, bass guitar. Tracks A1, A3, A4, B4. Buzzy Fightin', guitars. Tracks A1, A3, A4, B1, B2, B4. Bobby Lyle, synthesizers. Tracks A1, B1. Piano. Tracks A3, A4. Keyboards. Track B2. Fender Rhodes. Track B4. Bobby Martin, synthesizers. Tracks A1, A3. Organ. Track B1. Keyboards. Track B2. Organ and synthesizer. Track B4. Robert Irving, synthesizers. Tracks A1, A2. Piano. Track A5. Mark Goldenberg, guitar and synthesizer solos. Tracks A1 and A3. Guitar solo. Track A2. Electric guitars and synthesizers. Track A5. Guitars. Track B3. Synthesizers. Track B5. David Logeman, drums and percussion. Track A2. Dave D. Mayer, bass. Track A2. Waddy Wachtel, electric guitars. Track A2. Philip Kennard, acoustic guitars and background vocals. Track A2. Brock Walsh, acoustic guitars. Track A2. Piano. Track B5. Lisa Garber, background vocals. Tracks A2, A3, A4. Laura Allen, background vocals. Tracks A2, A3, A4. Janice Sircone, background vocals. Track A3. Melando Gassama, percussion. Track A4. Mark Kaz Machino, horns. Tracks A4, B1. Mark Hatch, horns. Track A4. Jim Keltner, drums. Tracks A5, B3. Mark Leonard, bass. Track A5. Chaz Sanford, electric guitars and synthesizers. Track A5. Vernon Porter, bass. Tracks B1, B2. Joe Turano, background vocals. Track B1. Greg Prestopino, background vocals. Track B1. Matthew Wilder, background vocals. Track B1. Jude Johnston, background vocals. Track B2. Tim Drummond, bass. Track B3. Danny Korchmar, guitars. Track B3. The Staggering Harlots, Ula Hedwig, Katie Segal, Linda Hart, background vocals. Track B4. Production, Chuck Plotkin, a record producer. Brock Walsh, associate producer. Danny Goldberg, executive producer. Mark Kaz Machino, horn arrangement. Track A4. Toby Scott, recording all tracks. Mixing. Track B4. Don Smith, additional recording and mixing. Debbie Gold, production supervisor. Bonnie Bruckhammer, production associate. Recorded at Clover Studios with additional recording at Sound Factory and Rumbo Recorders. Mixed at Clover Studios and Rumbo Recorders. Assistant engineers, Dave DeMoore, Steve Bricks, Dave Pierce, Julian Stoll, Greg Anderson, Andre Miripolsky. Cover art, Kosh, Ron Larson. Design and art direction, Greg Gorman. Photography. Notes.